Hey guys, welcome back to Technologic Lounge. My name is Keith and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things IT. Whether you're a seasoned vet or a noob in IT, we've got something for you. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So just like any other IT nerd, I've got a lab set up at my house with a few servers, switches, and many things like that. And I use it a lot for many things that I come across at work. If I need to replicate something I'm having an issue with, studying for my different certifications, and just tinkering around. And I decided to add one additional thing to my lab, a Raspberry Pi 4. Now I've been wanting to get a Raspberry Pi 4 for a while, but due to COVID and all the chip shortages starting to spike, the prices with those things did as well. And I just did not want to pull the trigger. I didn't want to waste the money on it. However, that changed today. I ended up picking up a Raspberry Pi because I VPN to my house a lot, and it's to be able to get into my lab, whether I need to troubleshoot something from work or if I'm just out of town and I'm on some sketchy Wi-Fi and I need a secure connection, I'll go ahead and VPN in. But the thing about it is I use Active Directory on one of my servers so that I can authenticate in. That's where all of your accounts are stored at if you're not familiar with that essentially. But the thing about that is my servers have to be running in order for me to authenticate, which means I need to leave them on. And the only issue with that is the servers are actually in my office where my wife works, and I can't just leave them on throughout the entire day because she takes a lot of phone calls. So she's always complaining that the servers are on. So I needed some way to be able to authenticate in without having my servers running all the time. So I decided I could probably solve that issue with a Raspberry Pi 4. I ended up deciding to pick up a Raspberry Pi because of obviously they are super quiet and you can actually install Docker on them. And instead of using my Dell R620, which is super loud and the fans are spinning up and causing issues with my wife work, I can still authenticate in using a Raspberry Pi with Docker on it that has some sort of LDAP, Light Directory Access Protocol services, which is essentially where you store all your accounts and centralize everything, and even potentially throw on some SSO services, a single sign-on, so that when I authenticate in, I can bounce the authentication request off the Raspberry Pi using Docker, and then that could actually push a request to an app so that I have to approve it, whether it be a text or just clicking a button, so that I can VPN in. It'd actually be more secure, and I don't have to have a server spinning the entire time. Now, my buddy at work also has a lab as well, and he's had a few Raspberry Pis himself for a while now, and he actually recommended that I check out Canakit and look at some of the different packs they have on there. They have a lot of different packages that not only come with the Raspberry Pi board itself, but they can also include the casing, the heat sinks, fans, and everything else. So I went ahead and checked it out and actually found a package that I was pretty interested in. It was a little overpriced. It was about 120 bucks, but it came with a few different things, and we're going to go ahead and check out the specs on that now. So the specific Raspberry Pi 4 starter kit I decided to pick up was the 4GB starter kit for about $119.95. And the Raspberry Pi 4 Model B comes with a 1.5 gigahertz 64-bit quad-core ARM V8 CPU. It comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM, a 3.5 amp USB-C power supply with noise filter, a Canakit premium black case, which I'm probably going to use for now because I bought it, but I'm thinking about getting something better. I've seen some stuff on Amazon like a retro Nintendo system, which I thought was pretty cool. It comes with Canakit fans, comes with a micro HDMI to HDMI cable, and it also comes with a SanDisk 32 gigabyte class micro SD with a USB card reader, as well as your starter guide and all that. Now this Raspberry Pi 4 does actually come with new out-of-the-box software installed on it, which is essentially like a micro operating system that'll allow you to install whatever you want on it to actually get yourself up and running pretty fast. With that, I intend on using it to install Docker so that I can then throw my apps and services on top of that. But all that was about 119 bucks. Wasn't too bad, and it got to me pretty fast, actually, about a week. And I've actually had it sitting around for about a month now because I've been trying to create a video on it prior to actually installing it, but I've just been so busy. But here we are anyways, and we're going to go ahead and actually get into this. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. I actually came out of pocket for this myself, so make sure you hit that like button and definitely drop a subscribe down below as well so that I can justify having bought this thing. I do all kinds of tech review videos and stuff like that, and there's going to be many more coming with this Raspberry Pi as I continue to set it up. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into actually unboxing this thing, and I'm going to pretend like I haven't accidentally opened this thing twice because I had recording issues. Alright, so this is the box here. Nothing too fancy, just a big sticker. Alright, so we've got the micro HDMI to HDMI cable. We've got the heat sinks, and it looks like they've already got the adhesive on the back there. We've got the fan itself. We have the USB-C 3.5 amp charger. We've got the Canakit case. I opted for black. I think you could also get white as well. I'm not sure if I'll actually stick with this or not. I did see a Super Nintendo Mini Raspberry Pi case that I prefer, and I might upgrade to that on later on in the future, but we'll see. I might not care once it's actually in the server rack. We've got the Raspberry Pi itself. 4 gigabytes is the one I opted for. And you've actually got the specs on the back here. I'll throw a snap of that on there since it's a little blurry. We've got the USB to micro SD card adapter. The micro SD card itself. Probably upgrade that eventually as well. And then just some starter information. README, starter guide itself, and dear valued customer. Let's go ahead and get that stuff out of here. All right, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is take this power supply out. Just take a look at it real quick. Yep, standard USB cable, nothing too crazy. Got Canakit's logo on there as well. Not going to go ahead and open that up right now. We've got the case itself. Got the Raspberry Pi logo. Pretty fancy. Go ahead and throw that there. Along with the ports where the HDMI, USB, and RJ45 ports will be. SD card as well. What else can be seen here? SD card. USB-C, and they've actually got the labels on them as well. And this is actually 3 different pieces. So you take the top off, and then you can also remove the bottom. 3 different pieces for you. And then on to the main thing we're all actually wanting to see. The Raspberry Pi itself. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Very nice. Got the pins here, which we have a pin breakout for, so you can see what they all map to. The ports themselves, your micro USB, are your USB and micro HDMI ports. CPU. And all that, and you can see that here. And yeah, we can go ahead and start getting this thing together now. All right, get that fan out as well. Nothing too crazy. And it's MOLLE connectors. And our heat sinks. So we'll go ahead and apply the heat sinks, then we'll go ahead and put the fan on, and we'll put it in the case. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and throw those heat sinks on. And I actually had to look at the starter guide to see where they actually go. And this is actually going to explain to you where you put them. I'll go ahead and throw a snippet of that up so you can actually see it a little bit more clear. But essentially, we're going to go ahead and take this big one and put it on the CPU, the SD USB controller, and the RAM itself. There we go. Looks like this one's adhesive is already starting to stick a little bit. So we'll go ahead and do this one first. You can see it's just a little blue adhesive. And all we do is take it off. All right, got it off. And I can assure you I didn't spend about a whole minute trying to get that little blue sticker off. And then all we're going to do is put it here. Press it on firmly real quick. Give it a few seconds. And there we go. There's that heatsink. The first one on. 2 more to go. Go ahead and take the second one here. Try and get this blue tape off as well. There we go. We'll go ahead and apply it here. Got number 2. There. Now let's throw this one on the CPU. I'm getting better at these things. It's a shame I'm already done. I'll go ahead and firmly press those on as well. Bam. And that's it. Got them all on. Get out there. Beautiful. And now we're going to want to actually install the fan as well. So I'm going to pause this, read the documentation to see what pins these need to connect to, and get back to you. Alrighty, so I took a look at the documentation, and it looks like we need to go ahead and install the fan on pins 4 and 6 of the GPIO header. Red needs to go on 4 and black needs to go on 6. So we'll go ahead and get these knocked out. So red, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on pin 4. And black goes on 6. And that easy. That there. And then now we can actually get this thing installed in the case itself and get the fan hooked up where it's supposed to go in the case as well. So what you're going to want to do is take this bottom piece here, and you can see this little slot here, that's the side the SD card goes on. You just slide it up under this little lip here. Can't see. Goes right up under there. Beautiful. And then it just sits in there. And then from here, you just put the top case on. And you can see these holes here match up with these holes here. Make sure you don't clip your red and black wires. And it just sits in there real clean. Not hard at all. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then from here, we've got the top case. And you can see here, this is where the fan's actually going to be clipped in. We'll go ahead and clip that in. And make sure you put it the right way. You're going to want to make sure the fan is flowing the correct way. I'm assuming it's the logo. If not, I'll go ahead and fix it. And I'll put it in the comments whether or not it was wrong. And then you just clip it on. And that's it. It is all done. That's it. That's your Raspberry Pi. And then we'll go ahead and throw the SD card in. Where'd I put that little thing? Ah, here it is. Cool. Micro SD. You can see here there's a little annotation for where the micro SD card goes. Throw that up here if you can't see it as well. There we go. And we just insert this with the contacts up. Beautiful. Now, if you're not really sure what a Raspberry Pi is, I'll just give you a quick overview on it. Essentially, it's a microcomputer. It can be about the size of a deck of cards, and it can provide you with many different functionalities. It's great for setting up media services. It's great for learning how to hack. You can even actually create little micro retro gaming kits as well. There's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube about that. It'll help you program stuff and interact with your IoT, your Internet of Things, like your smart devices, like your Amazon, your Google, whatever it is. And you can also use it for tinkering with robotics and many other things. Now, if you're just getting into IT and you're looking for some way to get familiar with stuff and virtualize stuff so that you can start testing around, I actually wouldn't recommend getting a Raspberry Pi right away. There's many things online that you can download for free, specifically virtual machines or a virtual workstation that you can actually install services on and virtual machines on top of, as well as simulators. Like if you're trying to get into networking, you can get a whole bunch of different things like Cisco Packet Tracer. All these things are free. You don't have to spend anything on it, and those will help you more than actually setting up a Raspberry Pi. But if you've got the money and the time and you're just looking to blow some cash, I mean, I would recommend getting into it if you can. But anyways, guys, so that's my unboxing of the Raspberry Pi 4 Module B. Didn't take long at all. You don't need any tools. And this thing is pretty lightweight, not even bigger than a deck of cards. Definitely make sure you stick around and check out the next video. We'll be going ahead and get Docker installed, as well as going over some of the other services I'm going to throw on so that we can actually get my lab hooked up and ready to go and a little bit quieter so I'm not driving my wife insane. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Definitely pick up one if you can. Remember, I'm not sponsored, so make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next. I appreciate you. You guys take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.